god, look at that. Ooh, got in my eyeball. I don't know how to speak words. Oh my gosh. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm so excited because I'm going to be reviewing the new Mothership palette from Pat McGrath. This is the Huetopian Dream Palette. I'm also doing 3 looks. This is actually the 3rd look I did. I'm also doing comparisons. I will have the timestamps down below so you can skip ahead to whatever part you are most interested in. I just really want to make this video helpful if you are considering purchasing this palette. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I do a ton of product reviews just like this, and let's get into this video. So this is the palette. I'm so happy that I purchased this. I did pick it up on launch day. I actually think I live near a Pat McGrath warehouse or something because it did get to me so soon. I wanted to take my 2 days to actually really test out every single shade in this palette, and I do have some thoughts and I do comparisons, and the comparisons are quite shocking actually. A lot of people had issues with the fact that she advertises as a rainbow, like 80s retro vibe type palette, and I don't really get that vibe from this palette. So this palette is available now at patmcgrath.com. It's also available at Sephora. It is $125, which I know it's quite a pricey palette, but the formulas in here are quite special. Anyway, there are tons of different formulas in here. To be exact, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 formulas in this palette, which is actually crazy. If you're not familiar with Pat McGrath, her Blitz Astral shades are usually the 4 on the right. But yeah, let's get into look number 1. Like, I really know that I want to use these 2 shades in this first look, but I'm not sure how to go about it because like I want to use this matte shade, but I don't think that they match. That's the only thing about this color store. I feel like these 2 Blitz Astral shades are a little out of place in my opinion, but I love them, so I'm gonna use them for sure. I'm gonna go with Secret Eden, which is the matte like mauve color, the lightest matte shade. Oh wait, let's have another ASMR moment. Hold on, let's do it. Hold on. Love that. So I'm gonna go in with this one. Like I said, that's pigmented, but I love it. I feel like Pat McGrath's mattes are ones that you can like fake into looking like there's more than one. You can make it look really opaque, or you can blend it out almost into nothing and have like a really nice gradient just with one shade. We're not going to be doing that today. I want to go in with a darker shade. Let me tell you though, these mattes do remind me of Divine Rose, the original one, which was my first ever Pat McGrath palette, by the way. My hubby bought it for me for Christmas. It's his fault that I'm hooked on Pat McGrath now. I already told him. I was like, this is the reason. And then he admitted to me that the only reason he bought me that for Christmas was because he loved the packaging, and I'm like, well, kudos to you, sir. Of course, her mattes blend so effortlessly. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with Extreme Plum Noir, which is the darker like mauve shade, I guess. Again, they just remind me so much of Divine Rose. They're very similar in tone. I'm just gonna deepen out the outer corner. These 2 are very similar in tone. They go very well together. They complement each other very nicely. But I feel like this could be achieved with just the original shade because it was pretty dark when I first applied it. I'm probably able to build it up to get to this intensity and still blend out the outer edges. So I feel like we could have done with a different matte shade. I don't know if that makes any sense. Let me just take a little bit more of the original shade and blend out the outer edges. Some matte purples would be so pretty to go with like the Blitz Astral shade she has at the end. I don't know. With whatever's left on my brush, I'm just taking it into the rest of my crease. I'm so torn. I've been sitting here doing swatches for like 20 minutes. I don't know what shade I'm gonna take first. I'm gonna take, okay, let me see the name. Astral Amethyst Moon. Oh my gosh, I love the name even. This is Astral Amethyst Moon. Always recommend taking your finger. I'm gonna try with the brush. This is a Refer 28 brush. I'm gonna first take this like all over the lid, and then I might go in with another shade on like the outer part of the lid, if that makes sense, just because I feel like, oh my god, this is so pretty. I just feel like it needs something else. I just don't know what will go extremely well. This is a beautiful shade. A lot of people I know are like not a huge fan of the Blitz Astrals, but they're just so pretty. This would be a gorgeous topper even, but it's opaque enough that you can make it work on the lid by itself. Look at how stunning that is. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's got a blue purple reflect. This is the shade I fell in love with when I first saw the palette for sure. This is the shade we were hoping would be the majority of the palette. There's a lot of kickback with this shade, by the way, in the pan, and I have quite a bit of fallout. I definitely recommend cutting your crease using some sort of glitter glue. For today, I can't be bothered to do that. I want to see how these shadows perform the way they're meant to, which is with very little effort. This is absolutely stunning. I love the sparkle. I love it so much. With this shade, it's like so loose, like loose glitter particles, loose shimmer, that it kind of comes off without you even wiping it with like a wet cloth or anything. I'm just gonna take the other side of the brush, and I think I'm gonna go in with Cosmic Bloom, which by the way perform fantastically swatched, so hopefully they also perform well on the eyeballs. But I'm just gonna take that in the very, yep, right decision, perfect decision. These shimmers are phenomenal, but the Bliss Astrals are really what like I look forward to in her Mothership palettes. But the shimmers, like they hardly ever disappoint. These are very stunning, so pretty. Then obviously we're gonna go in with the matte shades we went in with and just kind of blend them into each other. The darker one first, blend that into the lid shades. Gorgeous. I'm gonna take a little bit more and bring it further on the lid, and I'm gonna take a little bit more of the Amethyst shade and just kind of make sure they're nice and blended. I do like that the Blitz Astral shades, like they play well with the other shimmer shades. It's not too overpowering. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna take Cosmic Bloom, which is the shade we took on the outer part of the lid. I just think that will look so stunning. I'm gonna concentrate this first on the inner part of the lower lash line, because I think I might go in with one of the deeper matte shades in the rest of it, just to like kind of, I don't know, contradict the lid. I don't know, I thought it would be fun. I hardly ever do this, so like I said, lots of fallout. Either do your eyes first or use a glitter glue, concealer, cut your crease type thing. Then on the rest of the lower lash line, I'm gonna start with the dark matte. I'm gonna take a Refer 03 brush and just bring that really close to the lower lash line. I'm gonna blend out with the original transition shade we took. And then in the inner corner, you know I'm gonna take this shade. What's it called? Astral Venusian Orchid. This has a beautiful shift as well. In some lights, I see it like green. I don't even know. Oh my god, look at that. These are perfect inner corner highlights, perfect toppers, perfect, like, just gorgeous shades. I don't even know. Okay, so this is the final first look. I'm really loving how this turned out. I think that Blitz Astral shade is absolutely stunning. I think that these shades are super special. Let's just see what I come up with for the second look and the third look, and I'll get to my final thoughts obviously at the end. For this next look, I want to do something really bronzy and gold, which can be hard to achieve with a palette that doesn't have very many matte shades in that category, but we're gonna go in with this shade. Hear me out, like, trust the process. This shade is called Shockwave. This is a shade that I did not really understand the vibe of when I saw this palette for the first time. I actually didn't, I don't know, in different pictures and different lighting, it looked like a different shade to me, to be honest. I'm gonna do a halo eye, so I'm taking this all over the crease, inner and outer corner as well. This shade is blending out so nicely. I love the tone of it. It is so pretty. I love it. And I'm also just gonna take this on the lower lash line, since I know that's where I'm headed. It's gonna be kind of a boring lower lash line this time around. And I'm actually just gonna like pull this outwards a little bit. I'm gonna deepen the inner and outer corner with Extreme Plum Noir. Those two shades together, I was a little worried for some reason, but they're pretty. I'm gonna start in the outer corner, and then I'll do the inner corner, and then I'll kind of see how I feel about the gap in the middle. I don't know, I may not put any there, kind of make it a spotlight eye situation. We'll see how I feel. Before I continue though, I'm taking a little bit more of the original shade and kind of blending those two out together, then adding a little bit more. I'm gonna take whatever's left on my brush and just kind of bring it toward the center of the crease. This is blending so nicely. And of course, I'm also just gonna take a little bit on my lower lash line. Ooh, got in my eyeball. So on the lid, I'm gonna go in with Bronze Desire, and that's just gonna go in the outer and inner corner. I'm really loving this shade. It's a really nice metallic. It's not the, you know, Blitz Astral, but it is super stunning. And then really quick, let me just blend some more of the matte shades. Blend that into Bronze Desire. And then in the very center, I'm just gonna flip my brush over and take the Bronze Solaris 005. Also, I see this more of a gold than a bronze, but that's just me. Also, this didn't swatch very well. It was a little bit like hard. I'm gonna use my finger. I don't think that using a brush is even gonna be worth it. Oh my god, but that's so pretty. It is definitely performing so much better than it swatched, which makes me so happy. You have no idea. I can take a little bit more of the bronze shade and blend the two together. so it looks more like a halo. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Look at how this looks. Oh my gosh, you guys. Definitely this shade is better with a finger. I don't really like using my finger all that often, but I will definitely do it if it makes the shade perform better, which in this case it definitely does. I'm taking a little bit more of the dark matte shade and just kind of really filling in the gaps in the crease right here. And then in the inner corner, I'm gonna take Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. Really plain, kind of white gold, I don't know, champagne shade. I don't know how to speak words. It's gorgeous though. So this is the final second look. I'm loving how this turned out. I think this is a gorgeous look. It's giving me winter, like Christmassy vibes for some reason, like cranberry gold. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I think that this is such a stunning look. I'm really impressed with the palette so far. Let me just say that. And let's see what I come up with for look number 3. For this last look, I'm totally going to be using this gorgeous duochrome called Blitz Extreme. Such a funny name. I'm gonna do a really nice and smoked out look. So I'm first gonna go in with, obviously, there's not really a lot of options here in terms of mattes. And I was thinking about this yesterday. It's a new day, by the way. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, would I rather have more mattes or more of the fun shades? Like, even the metallics that aren't the Bliss Astral shades, I think I would rather have more shimmers. While a lot of people, I think, prefer more mattes in a palette, I prefer more of the fun shades. 3 mattes is not a big deal to me, even though, like, sometimes I struggle to get a cohesive look using just the same mattes. Like when I do 3 looks, 1 palettes, I want to do something different for every look, including the crease shades, and you just can't really do that when there's only 3 crease shades. So I've been using the same crease shades like for every look. Obviously there's not really many other options. Anyway, let's go in with Secret Eden shade, which is gonna be the transition. I'm gonna put that all over the crease. I'm also gonna do like a nice winged out smoky eye type thing. So let's start in the outer corner and create like a V shape and then bring it into the crease. And I'm just really gonna take my time and build up the shade and blend out the outer edges as well, because I do want this to be really smoked out, really heavy and smoky. I'm also gonna run this along the lower lash line because I just know that that's what I'm gonna end up doing anyway. Now I'm just gonna deepen out with Extreme Plum Noir. That's the shade right here. I really want to smoke out the outer corner and the crease, so I'm gonna take my time building this up and blending it out. Also keeping that V shape going, you know. I love this shade. I think these two work really well together. I'm honestly surprised at Extreme Plum Noir because it works well with even the other matte shade, which is more of a peachy matte. And I'm gonna go back in with some of, what's it called? Secret Eden. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of that one. Just blending out the outer edges. The blend in these mattes is actually incredible, like surprisingly incredible. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last other looks, you know what I mean, the other 2 looks that I did. I don't see a lot of fallout, which is amazing. The only time I see fallout is when I use the Blitz Astral. I'm just gonna continue blending this because it's not very well blended right now. Also running this along the lower lash line, really smoking out that lower lash line. Let me just add a little tiny bit more of the Secret Eden shade. I'm so sorry guys, I promise you I will remember that name, maybe. You know what, I'm gonna take like a blank brush, a clean brush, and just really make sure the edges are diffused. And now it's time for Blitz Extreme. We're gonna spray some setting spray. I might end up using my finger though. I have been with the other Blitz Astral shades. This is the least crumbly out of all of them. It is definitely a trichrome. Like, look at that shift. Oh my gosh, it's so stunning. This is a very monochromatic look though, which I'm not like generally a huge fan of, but I just really wanted to use this shade today. And I really like the way this is coming out. Oh my gosh. Do you see that shift? It's so pretty, guys, so pretty. This is gonna be my go-to shade for fall. I just see it, like, it is a very fall look. It has a very beautiful shift. What we're gonna do now is blend a little bit more of Extreme Plum Noir on the outer edge, making sure they're nice and blended together, no harsh lines, etc. Let's see how it applies with the finger. To be honest, I see no difference, and I hate applying makeup with my fingers. I always feel like dirty. I don't like it. A wet brush does just fine. I recommend the gold shade, which is the Bronze Solaris, to use your finger for that one because that one's a lot more crumbly. This one stays intact. There's very little fallout with this one, which I'm so glad. There's a little bit of fallout, but there's very little fallout. I'm pleasantly surprised by that shade. Like, I think it might be my favorite shade in the palette, which I thought that the Astral Amethyst Moon would be, but I don't know, man. I really like this shade a lot. What should we do in the inner corner? I think we're gonna go in with Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. It's a little much with the other trichrome shade, so we're gonna keep it at that and not put another duochrome or anything like that. I'm obsessed. I love how smoky this is. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so this is the final third look. Let's get into the comparisons before I tell you anything, like my final thoughts and all that, because I have a lot to compare to. I have every single Mothership palette. I haven't used all of them extensively. Actually, like I've built up my collection this year. Every time she has a sale, I'll buy a new Mothership palette, and she's had a lot of sales this year, which is interesting. But I'm gonna go Mothership by Mothership and just kind of see which shades I think actually are very similar to the ones in here to see if this Mothership is worth it for you if you own the other Motherships, you know what I mean? So in Mothership 1, we have a gold that's pretty light. Like it's not, in comparison to the bronze shade, it's nothing. We've got VR Violet, and then here we have Astral Amethyst Moon, and then here we have Astral Venusian Orchid. They all have different shifts though. These two look more similar than anything, but they're all different. Then we've got Skin Show Nude from Mothership 1, obviously, and then Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. All of the Motherships have this similar shade. Ignore my tan, I have to scrub it off, I know. We're just gonna cover it. They're still very different tones though, honestly. Like this one's more of a pinkier tone, so they're all different. And then Mothership 2 Sublime, we have Skin Show Glow in comparison to the Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. They're kind of similar in tone, but they're different formulas for sure. The Skin Show Glow is not a metallic, it's more of like a matte-ish shade. And then we have a dark, which I would say is very similar to Extreme Plum Noir. Yeah, those are quite similar. And then we've also got a couple of golds. We have a bronze 005, bronze Solaris 005. They're very similar, as you can see, and they're both Blitz Astral shades, so yeah, very similar. And we've got Subversive Mothership 3. This is what it looks like. Barely use this one, honestly. I gotta use these more. There's a couple of shades in here I'm gonna talk about. Obviously, we've got Skin Show Fever in the Subversive palette. Skin Show Nude Ecstasy, quite similar. I would say Skin Show Fever is just a bit more golden. Yeah, definitely more golden. I would say Night Creature. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more purple. I'm not even going to compare that. I'll just swatch it. It's definitely a lot more purple. But we do have Blitz Amethyst, which we have Astral Amethyst in the new Huetopian palette. Blitz Amethyst is a little bit more, obviously has more of a blue shift. So they're quite different. They are quite different. And then we've also got Gigabyte, which is another Blitz Astral shade compared to Bronze Solaris. Definitely more of a green undertone, I guess. So not that similar. I really like this one. I gotta use this palette a lot more. Like this is a fun one. We've got Deep Shade. Let's compare it to Extreme Plum Noir. Extreme Plum Noir is more of a reddish tone. Matte, I don't even have a place left to swatch. Yeah, this is Extreme Plum Noir. It's more of a reddish brown, so they're not that similar. So we have Mothership 4 Decadence. I actually have not even touched this one, and I really should. There's no special formula in here. There's no Blitz Astral shades, but I still want to talk about a couple shades in here. So we've got Gold Standard. Let's compare it to Bronze Solaris. Definitely different formula, obviously. Blitz Astral. Yeah, oh, hold on, gotta wipe this off. But yeah, these are definitely a different formula. Also quite different shades. This is definitely more bronze. We've got Inferno. I want to say Bronze Desire is very similar to Inferno, as you guys can see. Yeah, they're even a very similar formula. I would say Inferno has a bit of a duochrome. It's gorgeous. It actually reminds me a lot of Blitz Extreme, Sextreme. I keep calling it Extreme. I don't know why. It has a little bit of that kind of shift. Yeah, no, never mind. They're different. They all have different shifts. They're all quite unique shades. I'm telling you, like the more I'm doing these comparisons, the more I'm realizing how every shade she puts in these palettes is unique. Then we've got Hedonistic, and let's compare that to Cosmic Bloom. Cosmic Bloom feels a little bit more creamy for some reason, but in terms of shade, they are quite similar. Then we've got Bronze Seduction, which is Mothership 5. We've got Skin Show Divine Glow versus Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. Obviously quite similar. They're all gonna be quite similar. Like I keep saying the same things over and over again. I would say this has more of a yellow shift, so there's that. Let's see how the Bronze Blaze compares to Bronze Solaris. Obviously more of a metallic feel. I mean, the Blitz formula is totally different. Kind of a different shade too. I would say Bronze Solaris is more of a gold undertone. Okay, then we've got Midnight Sun, which I've used quite a bit actually, so I am well versed in this one, I promise. We've got Skin Show Moon Glow in comparison to Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. Again, you know, very similar. I'm gonna say the same shit over and over again, I know. Then we've got like this Blood Moon situation. I wouldn't say it's that similar to Bronze Solaris at all. Very much a red undertone, orangey red undertone comparison to more of a gold bronze undertone, obviously. You know what, let's try the one next to it. Hello, thinking about this, Jubilee. Let's see how that compares to bronze. Yeah, it's definitely more gold. Obviously the Blitz Violet Orchid. Let's see how that compares. Oh my gosh, I love that shade. It's a creamy blitz. It's not like a flaky blitz astral shade. Oh my gosh, I love it. So we're gonna compare to all three of the violet shades in the Huetopian Dream Palette. Obviously, this has more of a gray blue undertone in comparison. It's a lot smoother application wise. It's less crumbly, as I told you. Even just by swatching it, you can tell. Bronze Eclipse, and see how that compares to the bronze. I mean, it's just a lot more bronze, if that makes sense. But you know what? Let's take Bronze Desire. Bronze Desire in the Huetopian Dream. Definitely more of a like reddish brown purpley undertone. Getting kind of overwhelmed with all of these comparisons, but I gotta do this for comparison's sake, just so I know as well. I'm a collector, but I know that some viewers might want to seeing what they already own and seeing if they really need this new Mothership palette. You know what I mean? Next we have Divine Rose 1. I don't have the names in front of me, but this is like the gold shade. Oh, let me show you the palette, duh. The gold shade, let's compare that to the bronze shade. Very different, as you can see. And then for comparison's sake, we'll take Bronze Desire versus this bronzy shade in here. I do still have the packaging. It's just put away in a cabinet because it's kind of falling apart, and I don't want to keep it where I actually like take out my makeup, because then it's gonna get even more messed up, and I want to keep the packaging, if that makes any sense. I know, it's kind of silly, right? But let's compare some of the mattes as well. As you can see, they're all quite different. We're gonna take the darkest matte shade in Divine Rose 1 and compare that to Plum Noir, Extreme Plum Noir. Obviously the Plum Noir has more of a purpley undertone, so there's that. Then we have Divine Rose 2 here. The only one I would say is very, very similar is the golds, obviously, in comparison to the bronze shade. These two golds are from Divine Rose 2, these two shades here. And then we have the Bronze Solaris shade from the Huetopian Dream. They're quite similar. I have the Fleur Fantasia quad here from the Celestial Divinity, and I just want to compare these two versus the Astral Amethyst and Astral Venusian shades. Yeah, they're all quite different. I would say these two are kind of similar. They're not the same formula. This is a metallic and this is a Blitz Astral. Yeah, this one has more of a duochrome for sure, more of a shift, if you guys can see that. And then these two, yeah, they're not the same for sure. Lotus Paradise, let's compare that to Secret Eden. Yeah, those are very, very similar. My arm is like officially stained. Those are so similar. Wow, look at that. I think that might be the closest comparison we've gotten. I have the Ritualistic Rose Luxe Quad, which is a Blitz Astral Quad. Astral Venusian versus Astral Rose Orchid. Very, very similar. Just more of a rosy undertone. I'm not gonna keep swatching on my arm because clearly it's just not working. Yeah, these are very, very similar. Then I've got the iconic Illumination Blitz Astral Quad. Bronze Gold versus Bronze Solaris. Bronze Gold is definitely more smooth. This is a very crumbly bronze shade in the new Huetopian palette for sure. Very different undertones as well. And then we have the Celestial Divinity palette. There are no Blitz Astral shades in here, but I want to see what we can compare. Gold Standard versus Bronze Nebula versus Bronze Solaris in the new palette. Let's see. Obviously different formulas, but these two shades are very, very similar. I also have another bronze, just straight up bronze in here. Very similar shades. If you have this palette, honestly, there are a lot of shades you can get in the new Mothership palette, but they're just not that special formula, the Blitz Astral formula. Let's try some of the purples here. We've got Electron versus Astral Amethyst. Very similar, kind of a dual chromey shade, obviously not the same formula. This is obviously way more electric. Let's do some of the mattes. Venusian Orchid, Secret Eden, the two light mattes, very, very similar. I'm sorry, I'm going so fast because I just want to like make sure, but hopefully you guys this is helpful at all, because that's all I want to do is help people. These two, obviously this first one's a lot more purple than Plum Noir is gonna be. Oh wow, the what's it called? Major Mahogany is very similar to Extreme Plum Noir. Very, very similar. I'm telling you, you can probably dupe the Huetopian palette with the Celestial Divinity palette. Very similar. I didn't even see this until I opened it. So we have also this shade over here. Blitz Extreme is very similar. Wow, look at that. I think there's a dupe for every single shade, maybe except for Shockwave, because that's like the one unique shade. I'm a little shocked, I'm not gonna lie, but I really hope these comparisons were helpful to you. I also hope you got some ideas for looks. I did 3 looks. I hope you enjoyed them all. I really love them all. I can't even choose a favorite. Overall, I think it's a great palette for those of you that don't even have a Mothership palette. It's a great introduction into the Pat McGrath Mothership palette formula. And I do think that there are a lot of looks you can create with this palette. It's not the most neutral palette, but it definitely wasn't rainbow as advertised. Let's just say that. So if this color story is right up your alley, I definitely think that it's worth it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you picked up this palette or if you're planning on picking it up. I do believe that they still have a 10% little discount if you want to purchase this palette off of Pat McGrath, but it's also available at Sephora. I'll have it linked down below if you're interested. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Let me see the names so I can tell you. Gotta open up this packaging. Man, this packaging. Blending skills are subpar today. If I can find my brushes, where the heck did they go? Here they are. And I do think that there are a lot of looks that you can create with this look.